As I mentioned earlier on, Korean shipyards are extremely busy. There's a lot of orders of high-value vessels from international and Korean companies, with the shipyards at capacity through to 2023 and beyond. This is creating a lot of opportunity for ship lenders, not least the Korean ECA companies. And our next session is entitled Korea's Major Finance Institutions Discuss ECA and Other Finance Opportunities. Our moderator is Mr. Ricky Kim, Senior Associate of Stephenson Harwood. Ricky, please, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kevin, for the very kind introduction. My name is Ricky Kim. Today, I'll be hosting the panel discussion. Today's topic for discussion is Korea's Major Finance Institutions Discuss ECA and Other Finance Opportunities. Just a quick self-introduction. I'm Ricky Kim from Stephenson Harwood, Seoul office, and as you know, Stephenson Harwood, so together with the Singapore office, we are involved in a large number of transactions dealing with Korean ship owners and Korean financiers. So I'm very pleased to have my panel, and my panel consists of Mr. Jung Haejin from Korea Development Bank, Ms. Park Soyoung from KEXIM, and Mr. Baik Yongjae from KEXIM. Can I just invite each of my panelists to give a quick self-introduction, starting perhaps with Ms. Park.
Oh, well, thank you for your kind introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Soyoung Park from KEXIM. I'm a manager at Tanker and Offshore team of Maritime Finance Department. I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to speak at the 15th Annual Marine for Money Forum. Without further ado, I would like to first introduce my department's scope of work in terms of ship finance. KEXIM, as one of two export credit agencies in Korea, supports Korean exports and import through various insurance and guarantee programs. My department offers two types of insurance programs. First is called medium to long-term export insurance for type loan. I'll call it MLT for short. MLT export insurance is for foreign ship owners purchasing vessels from Korean shipyards. Under MLT insurance cover, banks can offer longer tenure for loans to ship owners. MLT export insurance covers both ship owners' non-payment risks and political risks, such as war, terrorist attacks, and etc. As Korean Export Credit Agency, KEXIM is bound by the OECD guidelines for ship sector of understanding when underwriting the insurance, which means it can cover up to 80% of the contract value, and the maximum tenor is 12 years for ship financing, and the repayment should be made in equal and regular principal amount amortized fully throughout the repayment period. The other insurance is called Overseas Business Financing Insurance for untied loan. Overseas Business Financing Insurance handles overseas business projects involving Korean interest. The type of Korean involvement includes equity participation, O&M contracts, and offtake contracts. Overseas business financing insurance is considered more flexible type of insurance because the tenor can be extended up to 20 years. KEXIM's ship financing programs are designed to support ship owners as well as financial institutions. As KEXIM's insurance covers both commercial risks and political risks, it enables financial institutions to provide longer tenor, lower margin, and more project-fit financing structures to ship owners. 2021 has been a very busy year for KEXIM, with numerous projects on LNG vessels and container vessels. My department alone has approved 9 projects entailing of 13 container vessels, 8 LNG carrier vessels, and 2 oil tankers. This volume is a large jump from last year when there were not as much opportunities due to COVID-19. We have a couple more projects on our pipeline waiting for internal approval, and we expect increase in number of projects for the upcoming year as well, based on the fact that we still receive many requests for consulting on potential financing opportunities from banks. KEXIM will gradually increase LNG-related business volume in line with the increasing demand from the market, and KEXIM will also be more active to support ship finance, especially the ones with ESG, decarbonizing contents, and with preference to projects secured by long-term charter with strong charterer. Lastly, KEXIM has always been and will always be a strong supporter of our customers, even in harsh situation. by utilizing business-friendly measures. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Park. Could I invite Mr. Baik to give an introduction to KEXIM, please?
Yes, thank you, Ricky. This is Yongjae from KEXIM, and actually, as Ms. Park already introduced, KEXIM is another ECA in Korea. So please remember it. We are not competing, we are cooperating. So please don't misunderstand anything. So we are very similar with KEXIM, but the main the difference from KEXIM between KEXIM and KEXIM is that KEXIM is able to finance and support direct financing. So KEXIM is able to support not only direct loan, but also our KEXIM's guarantee. So which means KEXIM is able to support for the loans and guarantees, which means KEXIM is also guided by OECD guideline. So KEXIM is able to support maximum 80% of the contract price of the vessel. And our maximum tenor of loan or guarantee is 12 years after delivery of the vessel. And also our loan repayment schedule is definitely maximum 12 years after delivery. It should be equal principal repayment. So it's quarterly or semi-annually or maybe annually, but it should be fully amortized during 12 years. So please remember that from the year 2007, which was the first Money Korea begins, after we introduced KEXIM's our ECA financing more than 15 years, around 15 years. So please remember it. KEXIM is also supportive and very active with the ECA financing, who orders their vessels into Korean shipyards. So definitely, whenever you have chance, please visit Korean ECA if you want to support from our banks and also the other institutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baik. May I invite Mr. Jung to give a quick introduction to KDB?
Yes. First of all, thank you for inviting me on this panel discussion today. My name is Haejin Jung, and I am a manager of KDB's shipping fund team. And I'm very pleased to introduce KDB to all of you at this moment. I guess all of you are already familiar with KDB. So let me just touch briefly about KDB. Since 1954, KDB has been one of the main driving force for the Korean economy with 100% ownership of the government. Our key mandate and role are supporting implementation of government policies and promoting development of overall industries. Government's strong control and support for KDB are stipulated in KDB Act. In KDB Act, it contains several important sections like the appointment of KDB's chairman by the President of Korea and the government's duty to guarantee KDB's solvency. So regarding this section of KDB Act, it shows that KDB is strongly backed by the government, both financially and systematically. And with this evidence, international credit rating companies like Moody's, S&P, Fitch indicate KDB's rating with the sovereign rating of Korea. Nowadays, as the leading Polish bank of the Korea, KDB has acted as a first mover in the fields of socially responsible investments and sustainable finance, incorporating environmental and social agenda into its everyday business decision-making and project management. For example, adopting the Equator principles and issuing green bond, which is strictly in line with the green bond principles. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jung. From a lawyer's perspective as well, I can testify that each of KDB, KEXIM, and KEXIM are very active in the Korean shipping market. In fact, I personally, with my wider team, are involved in various transactions at the moment involving all of KDB, KEXIM, and KEXIM. So moving on to some topics for discussions. We all know that the past year, the Korean shipyards seem to be in full capacity, and it seems so until even 2023 and maybe even 2024. So most of these are involving high-value container ships, LNGs, and VLGCs. So could I ask the panel whether these increased number of orders created opportunities for each of your entity to finance foreign owners? Perhaps Mr. Baik, Mr. Jung, yeah, please.
Yes. Can I talk first?
Yes, of course.
Yes, I think so. Because of Korean shipbuilders' world famous shipbuilding techniques, foreign owners has ordered ships to Korean shipbuilders more and more, especially when it comes to high-value ships, as you know, like VLGC, high-value container ships. Although Korean finance institutions also follow market logics, just involve in good deal and do not involve in bad deal. If Korea contents, in this case, the Korean shipbuilder involves in, they might be more friendly for financing, I guess.
If I could add on to what Mr. Jung just has said, my department also has been receiving numerous consulting requests from different financial institutions on potential ship financing opportunities due to Korean shipyards fully being reserved due to full capacity. As I mentioned before during the brief introduction of my department, 2021 has especially been a very busy year for us with many ship financing opportunities. Moreover, I think there are more to come for next year as well, which are mainly about the mega deal of Qatar Petroleum on LNG carrier vessels, which are planned for next year as well. So I think the trends will go on.
Yeah, KEXIM is also supportive of two institutions' opinion. Actually, there are huge and series of new building, which is high value the vessels. For example, as you mentioned, Ricky, the mega container vessels, and also LNG and VLGCs, and also the tankers are in booms compared to last year. So we are very supportive, and we done lots of the project is due to the NDA, non-disclosure clause. So we cannot give you the exact names of the ship owners, but actually we are very busy. And also last year was a bit the pausing time for us. So we just prepare for another leap and jump. So we just, in this year, we got huge deals in our pipeline. Also, we did lots of projects. So it's another rebound after year 2007 or 2008. So actually, there might be, and there's still a very high possibility of the project, the possibility of doing the new projects.
Yes, thank you very much. So it's very good to hear that the three main pillars of Korean ship finance, KEXIM, KESHIR, and KDB are still very active in the market. So I think for all the non-Korean ship owners in the audience, they should continue reaching out to each of KEXIM, KDB, and KESHIR. Moving on to another topic, container shipping has been earning record earnings for the past 15 months, and it seems that this will continue. So could I ask, on the basis of the fact that earnings are so high, and now vessel owners are being cash rich, has this affected their finance requirements?
I think it depends on vessel owner's perspective of financing. Even they have enough cash in their internal, some owners still require more financing to use leverage effect, but they just use their cash to manage their debt ratio. It depends on their owners.
Yes, I agree with Mr. Jung, and it depends on their internal policy. But actually, they're making huge money for their in this unexpected the high market. But they are ordering series of vessels, which is not one or two, is 5 times or maybe 10 or dozen vessels is spacious vessels. So post Panamax or very huge container vessels are ordering continuously. So they need their own equity for ordering their vessels. So I guess, okay, they're making huge money, but they put their money into their cash payment or their equity in their new building orders. So actually, it might be it will be used for their dividend or their just earnings, but actually they're spending the money into their equity of the series of new buildings.
If I may add, I cannot speak for the market, but based on my experience here at this department, I think major container ship owners do have numerous options for financing, and they tend to choose among many, which gives them advantages and bargaining power to ask for more requirements. For example, K-Shore offers pre-delivery loan as well, but recently there has been less number of requests for pre-delivery loan insurance because the ship owners, I think they can afford that part of financing. But however, this was the case even before the container shipping has earned record earnings. If a ship owner has a strong market standing, then it tends to have many different financing options. So I think it depends by ship owners.
Thank you. With several international banks, which used to be active in Korea, having pulled out or reduced activity, in your view, does this make it more difficult to structure high-value deals when the Korean institutions will be one of the lenders, or in the case of K-Shore, of course, giving a K-Shore backing?
Well, once again, I cannot speak for the market, but that is not the case for K-Shore. This year, I have to mention it again, but it was a banner year for K-Shore with heavy project concentration on LNG vessels and container vessels. We have been receiving a lot of conference call requests from numerous banks for different potential financing opportunities. Of course, many of the banks that approached us were mainly based in Europe. So there are, of course, some physical difficulties such as time difference between Europe and Korea, but it has not hindered K-Shore from being an active participant in ship financing industry.
For KEXIM, we also have many inquiries from the European or American banks, or even some the regional bank, or the regional banks are come to KEXIM. So I guess we both, K-Shore and KEXIM is ECA, so they are also finding the two opportunities. So maybe they're also simultaneously contact K-Shore and KEXIM. And definitely, we have many contact from them. And sometimes we cannot cover all the regional. For example, we can cover some the pinpoint area, but we cannot cover all the regional for the shipping finance. So definitely, in some countries, the regional or European banks, they are in charge of their client. And also they come to Korean ECA, for example, KEXIM, and they are discussing with the new opportunities with their finance.
In addition to Baik and Park's opinion, when structuring high-value and expensive deals, it will be more easier, I guess, if international bank involved in that deals to some degree. In Korean shipping market, commercial banks are still reluctant for finance so far due to vague fear, which is based on some insolvency case like Haejin shipping bankruptcy in 2016. So when it comes to high value and expensive deals, international banks' participation is still needed to some degree, I think.
Okay, thank you. And just tracking back to Ms. Park's introduction to K-Shore, you mentioned ECG is very important, and I think this is one topic we should touch. So ECG and decarbonization are huge issues currently in shipping and will probably define the future of the industry. How do each of you take into consideration ESG and decarbonization when looking into financing a shipping deal? For example, what deals would you not do? Perhaps I'll start with you, Ms. Park.
Oh, okay. To be frank, K-Shore does not have specially structured program designed to accommodate ESG-friendly project per se. But we do take ESG and decarbonization seriously into consideration. And there are some benefits on insurance premium that KEXIM offers if a project has ESG and decarbonization contents in it. Also, KEXIM has recently been receiving a lot of retrofit financing consultation requests from ship owners who are on the process of decarbonizing their vessels. Although it is not my department's scope of work to finance retrofitting of vessels, but KEXIM is optimistic on retrofitting finance in order for ship owners to retrofit the vessels to meet the IMO regulations, decarbonization, and for other ESG purposes. If the contents for retrofit are made from Korea, it is possible for KEXIM to consider supporting such projects. Lastly, we do not have any specific regulation on types of deals that we cannot do, for example, but ESG and decarbonization have definitely been hot potatoes in KEXIM.
Sure, thank you. Could I ask Mr. Jung for views from KTB?
Yeah. As all of you here is know, ESG and decarbonization is international trend for all industry, and I think it should be considered for a better world. KTB always take ESG into consideration when looking finance. We adopted ECA principle for the first time in Korea and established ESG department to become a leading bank in green finance. When it comes to shipping deal, we try to put environment things first, whether it is eco-friendly ships with dual fuel engine, for example, or does it install BWTS, or does it emit less CO2? Everything related with environment is our matter of interest. In addition, we also try to finance marine infrastructure to boost transition to eco-friendly marine industry. Expanding infrastructure should be considered with same priority. In addition, deals that we would not do is not simple thing that we can list. We should consider deals in almost every way. Like, for example, just because it is per carrier, we cannot exclude the financing possibility. That ship might have important role in that industry or might be eco-friendly ships with dual fuel engine. So it is very hard to categorize to do deals or not to do not deals. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baik.
Yeah, actually, ESG and decarbonization is a very hot issue among banks, not only banks, but also other financial or the other entire institutions or industries. Actually, KEXIM can offer a bit more favorable terms and conditions for the environmental friendly or decarbonization deals. But please remember, bear in mind that KEXIM is not discriminating any conventional vessels. So we don't have any discrimination. So please let us know if you have definitely the eco-friendly, or if you have conventional vessel, or even Ms. Park already said the retrofitting. Please let us know. KEXIM, my department, I'm in charge of the whole sectors. So definitely, if you have some sizable retrofit or the new buildings, definitely please let us know, and we will internally rate, or we can internally discuss whether it is eco-friendly or ESG or the conventional. So please contact without any hesitation.
Thank you, Mr. Baik. And perhaps to end off the panel discussion, I'll pose a question involving recent articles involving each of your entities. So starting with KEXIM, KEXIM recently gave backing to a loan to Hapag-Lloyd with a syndicate of 11 banks. The finance included green loan principles. Could you tell us a little more about this transaction and what are the green principles and how they are being monitored?
Okay. Well, this transaction was about 3 ultra-large 23,500 TEU container ships with Hapag-Lloyd earlier this year, which included green loan principles verified by the Loan Market Association. The green loan principles are comprised of voluntary recommended guidelines to be applied by market participants on a deal-by-deal basis, depending on the underlying characteristics of the transaction, that seek to promote integrity in the development of the green loan market by clarifying the instances in which a loan may be categorized as green. And these container vessels have very efficient main and auxiliary engines and uses LNG as their main fuel, which were criteria required to meet the green loan principles. Furthermore, these ships have the ability to run on bio and synthetic LNG once these fuels become more widely available. The ships offer an example of how vessels can reduce carbon intensity. As a result of the highly efficient, high-pressure LNG dual-fuel engines, the new buildings will have CO2 emission approximately 15 to 25% lower than that of comparable conventional fuel vessels. In addition to the requirements of the Loan Market Association's green loan principles, the ships will also satisfy the EU taxonomy's technical screening criteria for sea and coastal freight water transport. The vessels are now being built in Korea and are scheduled to be delivered in 2023. As far as the monitoring of the green loan principles, the green loan principles require green loan issuers to provide information on the allocation of the proceeds as well as the expected impact of the projects annually until fully drawn and as necessary thereafter in the event of material developments. The green loan principles does not actually concern us, KEXIM, as KEXIM does not provide direct loans like KEXIM, but insurers. But however, it affects the commercial loan of the facility. However, KEXIM do offer benefits on insurance premium with eco-friendly contents or ESG contents within the project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And to KEXIM, there has recently been news about a new build policy financing support program. An example is the 13,000 TEU H&M container vessels, and KEXIM is involved. Could you tell us more about that program, please?
Thank you, Ricky. Actually, frankly speaking, KEXIM was not the part of 13K, the container vessel of the HMM. Actually, we, not only KEXIM, but also KDB, also we participate in 24K, which is the biggest the container vessel, and we also involved in 16K container vessels. So KEXIM was part of the mezzanine loan of the 24K and also subordinated loan provider in 16K container vessel. So it's kind of supporting Korean domestic shipping company, and also it should be it was the purpose of rebuilding our the container vessel industry, because Haejin collapsed in year 2016, and Korean shipping was suffered from huge loss of the vessels. Actually, for you just mentioned about your recent the news for KEXIM. As you know, recently series of new building orders for LNG carrier will be expected through Qatar LNG project or Mozambique LNG project. KEXIM, as you know, KEXIM signed the MOU with the strongest bidder of this project in order to provide optimized financing package to the ship owners. KEXIM also, as you know, KEXIM also supports for financing green, low-emission vessels such as LNG dual fuel, methanol, or ammonia-propelled container tankers. And also, I want to let you know, not only Ricky, but also the other our clients, that despite the unprecedented difficulties caused by the pandemic, KEXIM restarted to conduct the face-to-face marketing for our core clients. For example, we already had business trip to Athens in early October. So we knew that sometimes physical meeting is much more efficient than hundreds of calls to hear what the clients practically needs. So through this effort, KEXIM prospect for new clients to couple with current shipyard and introduce features of ECA financing. So please let us know if you have container vessel or maybe LNG carriers, whatever, tankers, please let us know. But actually, we should know that our clients should know that I guess there are very seldom bulk carriers which will be built by current shipyards. So bulk carrier, except for bulk carriers, please let us know if you have new building orders.
Thank you, Mr. Baik, and for the clarification of the size of the vessels. And to KTB, are you able to comment on the consolidation among Korean shipbuilders? What is the rationale, and who do you think will be the winners?
Yeah, as you guys know that it is very hot issue nowadays, and unfortunately, this question is difficult to answer. As you know, consolidation amongst Korean shipbuilder is very sensitive and ongoing issue to KTB. So at this situation, all I can say is we KTB are trying our best for everyone. So please understand our situation.
Okay, thank you. So I would like to thank everyone today for being part of the panel. And I think I speak on behalf of everyone when I say that we are very much hoping that this is the last virtual Marine Money that we'll have. And next year we'll be able to meet everyone. And as Mr. Baik mentioned, I think everyone's keen to be meeting clients face to face, and hopefully that'll be very, very soon. So thank you very much, everyone, again, and see you next year in person.
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
We want to see you in face to face.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for arranging this forum, and I hope to see you face to face next year too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Ricky, and also to Korea Development Bank, to Korea Trade Insurance Corporation, and to the Export-Import Bank of Korea for those discussion on finance opportunities in Korea. That brings us to an end of session 1 of our conference. If you'd like to tune into session 2, which will begin at 2 o'clock Korea time, please find the link either on our website or it has already been sent to you. Thank you very much.